Board, Final Expense Agent Mentor live on the road, flying down I-75 after a short Friday in the field, dealing with them deadbeats. Hope you guys had a great week. I did pretty much myself. I went 0 for 2 today, but did a bang-up job on Wednesday and Thursday. So haven't done one of these videos in a while, and was thinking of what kind of topic I could discuss today. And what I figured would be really good to talk about is the art of imperfect action. Kind of my philosophy around really truly how one learns to be successful in the final expense business. So I had a new agent talk to me, interested in getting involved in this particular marketplace, and asked a really good question, a basic question. Many times the best questions are the basic ones. And this particular agent asked, what exactly do I need to do in order to become educated or to become prepared to sell final expense? Great question. And the way I would describe it is this. So first of all, you cannot be a perfectionist to be successful at sales. We certainly want to know a sales routine. We want to be able to understand a sales process. We need to understand a script. But we are not needed to be perfect about the process. In fact, I believe there's no way that one can be perfect until one applies the basics, the fundamentals, into action. Because sales is all about actually getting out there in the field and experiencing what it's like to present and discuss and yield or field objections from actual live prospects. There's only so much synthetic experience one can experience by getting involved in reading books or training programs or even field training, watching somebody else do it. It's all value added. I'm a big believer in it. I offer all of that stuff to my agents, but ultimately, the real lessons, the real experience of learning this business is done by in the trenches, belly to belly, face to face selling. And that's what everybody should do and strive to do as quickly as possible. And that's the key here. So how much synthetic, how much academic training, as I like to call it, is necessary to get to the point of feeling comfortable to be out there in the field? Because some people have the belief that you have to know every little underwriting aspect. You have to know the pricings completely. You got to know the selling completely. You have to be able to handle every objection completely. That is not the case whatsoever, because you will be what I call, or I'll label you as somebody who's getting aggressively getting ready. And that's somebody who is aggressively doing a bunch of stuff that really doesn't amount to much at all as far as functional real world application. Because somebody has to eventually get out the door and see somebody to be successful. And that's how, again, you really learn. So, for example, there's a quote I saw off of a video on YouTube about preparation and the art of doing so. And it was a quote given by General George Powell. And what he said was very insightful. He said, in making a decision for the Iraq War the first time around, and taking steps towards deciding on sorties and different attacks and different fronts and battles to be waged, he applied the 40-70 rule, where essentially what he would believe is that as long as he felt like he had 40% of the available information, that was enough to begin the process of making a decision to move his troops in or to wage an attack on a particular area. However, if he felt like he had gotten to the point where he had 70% of the information, the opportunity more likely than not would have passed him on. So it was his Colin Powell, not George Powell, I'm thinking of George Patton. Colin Powell's goal was to establish essentially enough information between the 40-70 range in order to make a decision to act in wartime. And so what's interesting about this is that he didn't require 100%, as many people do in their everyday lives. And what happens, as those of us know who are perfectionists or have those tendencies, that kind of perfectionism tends to yield very poor results, because you really don't see what this business is really like. You really don't get to learn truly what this is like, or really take action. Because that's what it really comes down to, is that there's a point to where you know enough to do enough damage, and you've got to go out there and start applying this in a real world setting to get results. So how does that apply to final expense? Well, if I'm a new agent or if I'm training a new agent, what is enough to feel someone who's comfortable to do something? So first of all, one thing I do very well, or I believe in very well, is you need to minimize your access to carriers. I'm a big believer in being a broker, offering 10 to 15 different companies, but you really need to start with maybe 2 or 3 max. Get to know those companies, study the applications, do any kind of training you can to learn those companies and be comfortable filling out applications. Secondly, you need to do a ride along with a successful agent. Doesn't matter really whom, but somebody who has shown success in the field. That's why I invite agents to do ride alongs with me. And then thirdly, you've got to know and practice the presentation to a specific extent. Again, you don't have to be perfect. You can get a lot of this written down on paper and follow through it as you are actually presenting. And what you're going to find is as you deliver this presentation that you've learned to some extent, you're going to begin to refine it. You're going to begin to internalize it and then begin to deliver it with more confidence, with more tonality, and with more emphasis, and making sure to hit all the major points to the presentation. And this is fundamental. That's all you really need to know before you get out there in the field and start presenting. You don't need to go through a long ordeal of academic training before you get out there and sell in the real world. Maybe 1 to 2 weeks of studious, disciplined studying is all you need to start. And then, of course, as you get out there and experience, you need to coordinate with your mentor, your trainer, your upline to help understand what you've done wrong and possibly what you can do better. Because that refining process is where you really begin to develop your skill level. And just like the old adage says, it takes 10,000 hours of actual experience to become a master of something, and that's certainly true in this business too. I've done over 3,000 presentations, and to get to the point where I feel confident pretty much in front of everybody didn't happen overnight. I remember feeling extremely overwhelmed, even not confident that whom I was dealing with at times as somebody who's getting started. But that becomes less of a case as you become accustomed to the type of people you deal with, and many people, generally speaking, are the same in their mentality and background, so you become comfortable with yourself and with the process, and therefore going to be more successful. So the key takeaway to this live stream here that I want to harp on here is do something. You know, it's called imperfect action for a reason, because the learning process absolutely takes place once you're in the field, once you're face to face, and truly once you screw up a couple of times. It's usually from the mess ups and the screw ups that the most successful people learn their most valuable lessons. And yes, it's painful to screw up. Yes, it's embarrassing potentially. But if you take the mindset of a winner and you look at the bright side and try to analyze things as a way to figure out if what you can learn to improve upon, you're going to find, even if the ones you don't sell, you're going to find value out of those sales calls. And if you think about them and apply them, you're going to find that, hey, you're going to improve even from those that you don't necessarily close. So don't spend too much time trying to aggressively get ready for this business. It is a simple business. It's not easy. It's mostly not easy because of the emotional roller coaster of any kind of straight commission sales. But on the other hand, it is simple. And if you just take the time to prep for a week or two, get out there and sell something. Get out there and see something. Broach the most important obstacle that you have, which is doing something, which is selling something. Because from that experience, you're going to find out how much you like this business, what it's like to get in front of these people, and you're going to experience the thrill of making a sale, as well in combination, the thrill of helping somebody out that otherwise would not have been helped if it wasn't for you showing up and taking the risk of actually seeing these people and possibly losing the sale, whereas instead you didn't. You got them covered, you got yourself a sale, and you feel good about yourself, because that's what it's all about. So guys, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. One last thing before you leave, I want to tell you about, I've just rolled out my new final expense inner circle program. I'm going to leave a link in the bottom of the description here. I'm not going to have it quite yet. I'm on the road and stuff, can't put it in. And going to tell you more about how it works. It's essentially a coaching program where I help you, whether you are an agent of mine or not. Most of those who are joining are not agents. We help you on a one-on-one basis and a group basis get better at the final expense business, learn how to sell better, close better, and give you access to highly discounted telemarketed leads, Facebook leads, as well as give you all sorts of training information that I normally sell for a high ticket price, which is included in the monthly membership package. If you're a new agent, this is perfect for you. If you're looking for training resources to supplement what you have right now. If you're a moderately experienced agent, this will be great as well. You also get access to our Inner Circle Facebook group, which has been a huge resource for agents to share their experiences and their questions that they have, and really get a combination of different ideas and experiences on different topics as related to prospecting, giving seminars, referral generation strategies. I do private videos just for Inner Circle members as well, and it's an excellent way to really get better at this business and overcome the learning curve, as well as have a communal type of aspect to it as well. It's very hard to find in this business. If you're interested at all in this, then I highly recommend you to click at the bottom. Again, this will be more in the recorded section where you can go do a playback and you can get a whole video with all the details and all the benefits added to it. My goal is to make this particular membership program be an immediate return on your investment to cover the small cost to do it on a monthly basis. And through the discounts on the lead programs, as well as the coaching, it should be fairly simple to do so. So if you've got any questions about it, you're welcome to ask below. I'm going to be doing another video later on, maybe today or tomorrow or Monday, to go more in detail about, again, how this Inner Circle program works and how it's different from the Mentorship program. So Dave Duford, Final Expense Agent Mentor, feagentmentor.com. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.